Well, welcome, Liberty and Health Alliance family. I'm Dr. Leela Lewis, and this is another segment of Untold Stories from the Pandemic. Today, we are joined with Diana. She is going to be sharing her story, her journey through the process of the pandemic, the difficulties that she encountered, but also the miraculous understanding that she has. You're going to not want to miss this very special presentation. Let's start with a word of prayer. Dear Father in heaven, thank you so much for life. Thank you for bringing us through another day. We ask that you would put a special blessing upon Diana as she shares her story. Let it be both an encouragement and an inspiration to us, each of us, to stand faithful to you no matter the cost. Thank you so much again for your love and your mercy. In Jesus' name, amen. Well,
Amen.
again, like I said, I'm so grateful to have each and every one of you. Diana, we just want to introduce you. This is our new friend, Diana.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, Diana. So, Diana, where are you coming to us from right now?
New Jersey, Northwest New Jersey.
Northwest New Jersey. And during the pandemic and the mandates, what were you doing? Were you employed at that time? And if so, what was your job at that time?
At the time I was employed, I was visiting people in their homes. I was a home care nurse. And so I was driving throughout Sussex County, visiting people in their homes and attending to their needs.
What happened when the mandates rolled out? What did you encounter at that point?
So what was interesting was the atmosphere was, you have the posters by the CDC with, advising everyone to wear their masks. And it was just that just made me feel like I saw a sign by the CDC for a mask. And I remember thinking, you know what, something is not right, because the way we were trained with mask wearing and nursing school was nothing like what was being promoted. We were required to encourage vaccinations among our patients. And of course, every patient I visited, most of them had their TVs going with the news about, the dangers of getting the COVID infection and, the advice to get vaccinated. So, you're walking in each of these homes with everybody listening to the news and then asking me, all right, now what should I do? And, when you wear the badge of the place you work and you wear their uniform, you're required then to have your speech and what you say in harmony with the organization that has employed you. So I felt very conflicted about this because of all the research that I had been doing about it. Even one of my patients was begging me, we would, well, not me, but some designated nurses would administer the COVID injection to patients that had asked for it, but they would run out. And there were so many patients that wanted it, and we just didn't have enough supply. So it's just interesting that the patients didn't get the vaccines as quickly as what the home care employees were getting them. So there was a lot of fear and apprehension, but at the same time, I was claiming promises and asking God, what should I do? What should I do? Looking through the Bible for answers, looking through the spirit of prophecy for guidance. And so then I decided to claim a promise, and that was Exodus 6, verse 6, which says, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will rid you of their bondage. That was something that I just claimed because this was becoming a burden. And also Psalms 119. 29 says, remove from me the way of lying. And Psalms 119:45 says, and I will walk at liberty, for I seek thy precepts. And I wanted to walk at liberty, walk into their homes with a feeling of liberty that I could freely speak. But you really sense that you can only speak what they wanted you to say.
So what happened to you as far as the mandates personally and your job?
I was given June 18th of that year. Our system was one of the earliest in the nation. I was watching what was going on with the Houston Medical Center, and soon our Atlantic Health System in New Jersey was among the first to mandate that we receive it. So got the notice that you have 2 weeks to get the vaccine. So I was able to obtain a religious exemption by a pastor to present that to the Human Resources Department of my place of employment. And then when I notified them that I wasn't going to be receiving this vaccine, they sent me an email to answer some questions. And the questions were, describe the sincerely held religious belief. And does this religion prohibit you from being vaccinated? And please describe the beliefs, practices, and observances. So I wrote them a letter that, and I'm not going to read the whole thing, but just that, I did not deny that I was a Seventh-day Adventist. But we believe that men and women are made in God's image as free beings with a God-given responsibility important to one's personal relationship with God and ability to serve others. And we believe that the person with full knowledge violates simple health principles, thereby bringing on poor health or disease, is living in violation of the laws of God. And then I went on to explain how federal law protects my religious liberty under the Free Exercise Clause. And it protects my right to perform or decline from performing certain physical acts in accordance with my beliefs. And then, so then he followed up with my response and talked to me a bit. And he said, "Oh, I know all about Loma Linda University Medical Center. I know that they're Seventh-day Adventist, and I know that your organization does not prohibit you from getting this vaccination." And so he said, "Do you have any other suggestions of how we could employ you?" And so he wanted me to tell him, okay, this is a way you can employ me so I wouldn't have to get this vaccination. But he said that it would be an undue hardship for the system to create a remote position for me. He gave me a couple weeks to decide what to do. And about 2 weeks later, he called me to see if I would change my mind. And so I told him that I wasn't going to change my mind. And so then they concluded that he said that I am a threat to public health and safety. So with that, by August 11th, so it was a month process pretty much of this going back and forth. I was forcefully resigned. What is interesting is that when I claimed that promise in Exodus 6, verse 6, about God ridding me from the burden of the Egyptians, and he would rid me of their bondage, the Israelites came out with great spoil. And I know that nurses and other healthcare employees were being fired without their pension or retirement or leftover sick days and vacation days. But God was gracious, and I was able to leave with spoil. I consider that with my what was left, from my retirement, sick days, pension, and so on. So I thank God for that. At the time, I had contacted local lawyers employment lawyers to see if they would take my case, and they wouldn't. I had the sense that nobody really wanted to advocate for me. There was so much uncertainty. I called several agencies and several lawyers, and none of them really wanted to deal with this. I honestly felt like, okay, I have no one to help me keep this job. So I'll just have to ride this out. So that's pretty much how it went. But I had peace through it all because I had done the research. I was reading the Bible and seeing how God is going to answer this, how God is going to answer, this dilemma when all earthly support is cut off. How does he come out on the other side? And that's what I was wondering, because to me, after losing a job, the world is black. You don't know what's going to happen.
What ended up happening for you afterwards? Did you end up getting another job, or how did that end up?
What was interesting was to see, okay, now what is God going to do? He knows my situation. What was nice was my husband, he did support me in this. We've been married for 20 years, and we saw the reactions that some people, negative reactions that were happening with other people. And he said, I support you 100%. Suddenly, when my husband was getting more referrals for his business picked up quite a bit. We had 2 homes, so we easily sold our one home 4 months later and moved into the other home and paid off the mortgage of the other home. 9 months later, I got a job locally. Now, what's interesting is I was told that in this area, I'm not going to find another job, but I got a part-time job. I'm not part of a system. I have a little bit more freedom, and it is with really nice people who are well connected in the community, who are more aware of my faith and my husband's faith and are trusting us to do, calling upon us and trusting us to do little things around their homes. I have more time to devote to church. I have been always involved in church, but now it isn't like this pressure of time. And 2 years later, my father-in-law had a stroke. So I've had the freedom to be able to take care of him. My husband and I take turns, but I have that greater freedom. And God knew what was in my future. And that was interesting. And I wanted to be in my home care job. I saw the pressures of the sandwich generation, of people who had parents that were failing and they just did not know what they were going to do. And I saw that problem is very real. And I'm just thankful that I can be here because now he lives with us and I can take care of him.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing your story. And we're so sorry that you had to go through this, but it feels like the Lord brought you through with great spoil, just like you said, and
Yeah,
encouragement. And what
yeah.
encouragement would you provide? What would you say to viewing audience right now? What would you recommend to them?
What I recommend is learn the promises. Don't be afraid of having an experience with God. And that is the experience. Claiming a promise, dating it. Like I have my prayer journal open because of the dates. And it's just this is a wonderful experience to claim a promise and wait. Learn to wait and see how God will answer it. I found in testimonies that Ellen White says, you don't give God a chance or space to work for you. Give him space to work for you. And so this is it. And there is a hymn in our hymnal number 107. It's called God Moves in a Mysterious Way. And there's a phrase in there that says, behind a frowning providence, he hides a smiling face. And you
Beautiful.
keep that in mind. Behind frowning providences, there's a smiling face hiding behind it. Just wait and see what God will do for you, because he loves us personally, each one of us. He has a particular personal answer for every particular problem that we have. That's just right. And just wait. It's worth it. It is so worth it.
Thank you so much for that, Diana. That is beautiful encouragement. And to our viewing audience, yes, be encouraged from the stories of all of these individuals, and Diana in particular. God will find a way.
Mhm.
And in the meantime, go to libertydocument.org and sign the appeal. It's a call for action, unity, and healing in God's church, so that the next time a situation like this arises, we can be prepared. Until next time,
Mhm.
God bless you. Thank you so much, Diana, for joining us.
You're
And
welcome,
thank
Dr.
you,
Lewis.
viewing audience, as well. God bless. Thank you.